Hello, welcome to another episode of Soulful Saturday. I am your host, Jima K. Hill Cook, founder of Kim G Counseling and Consulting, as well as the author of Reflections, What I Know to Be True, a 30-day devotional. Please like my page here on YouTube at Kim G for the Soul, as well as follow me on TikTok at Kim G for the Soul. You can also email me at Jima, which is my first name, Jem as in Mary A, at KimG4thesoul.com, or you can go out to my website as well and visit me at KimG4thesoul.com. Once again, welcome to another episode of Soulful Saturday. I'm so glad that you have decided to join me on this day. Last week, we talked a little bit about boundaries and how we're supposed to set them and how they guide us and how they're connected to so many things about us. And I hope something was said that resonated with you that you can share with others as you go on this journey. So thank you so much for being here. Today, I want to spend a little bit of time, just a little bit. Again, I won't be before you long, but I do want to spend just a little bit of time asking you the question and helping you figure out the answer, which is, who am I? Sometimes when I ask that question, people have such a hard time answering it because what they normally give me, they give me the roles they play or the titles that they carry. So I'll ask, who are you? What makes you you? And I get, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a doctor, or I'm a nurse, or I'm a friend. They give me all of these titles and roles that they carry. And very seldom do they tell me who they are, but they tell me what they do. Right? So there's a difference in what you do and who you are. Did you know that? Well, great. You're going to find that out today. And hopefully by the end of today, we'll have figured out a little bit more about who you are. So who am I and why is it important that I know who I am? Once again, I'm so glad you asked me that question, who you are, because I want you to get a better understanding of who you are. That helps you identify the things in your world that are not okay. So remember last week we talked about boundaries, and we defined boundaries as things that help us have good, healthy relationships, and it's a limit of what people can and cannot do and things of that nature. Well, if you don't really know who you are, how easy is it going to be for you to set boundaries with people about things that bother you or things that cause you discomfort? It's going to be kind of difficult to do that if you're not rooted in who you are and what makes you you. So what do I mean by that? Another great question that I'm glad you asked. Remember in my first episode, I talked a little bit about where I was from, where I was born in Helena, Arkansas, right? The last of my family in the whole lineage of the Mason family line to be born at home, right? It ended with me on August 22nd, 1968. So I carry the weight of that joy, the weight of being the last one born, right? Because I'm also the last of my family. I was the youngest of 7, okay? So that carries a little bit with me in terms of who I am. What does that mean? What that means is I am more than the titles that I embody. I'm kind. I'm gentle. I'm funny. I'm sexy, right? But more than all of that, what I learned on this journey is that I'm valuable, I'm worthy, I'm more than enough. When was the last time you told yourself that you were valuable, that you were worthy, that you were kind, that you truly are more than enough? A lot of times we have trouble identifying those things about us that are more positive because we spend a lot of time on the negative parts of ourselves, the things about us that we don't like or that we want to change. Not a problem with self-reflection and figuring out how to balance the things out, right? But we have to know how to balance those things out in a healthy way. And so, although there are things about you that you might want to change, which is wonderful, we evolve, we change, but there ought to be some things about you that you are pretty okay with, right? And so what are those things? Who are you? And as you are becoming that person, you're also becoming the next version of you. And so in order to know where you're going to go next, you got to know where you're starting from. So who are you? What makes you you? What is the thing about you that says, this is who I am? This is what I stand for. This is what I believe in. You know, a lot of us, of what we bring to the table is rooted in what our values are. What do you value? What's important to you? I often say that I could never be the person that was the driver in the getaway car, because I really have a hard time with people that lie, cheat, and steal. I mean, I really do. That's a non-negotiable for me. So I'm not going to be the friend sitting in the car waiting on you to go do something, right? And so that's who I am. That shows up in everything that I do. And so if that's a part of who I am, then probably the people in which I surround myself with will have some of those same like things that we share in that. We value some of the same things. So it's easy for me to have certain types of conversations with my tribe, with my circle, because we value some of the same things. We see ourselves in some of the same ways. So when I say I'm more than enough, that's not to say that I'm more than anybody else, but I am more than enough. Who I am, who I represent, what I bring to the table, how I see myself. I love me, right? I might not always like me, but I love me. I love who I am. And every day, I love who I'm becoming, right? Who are you now? And then who are you becoming? And to get to your becoming, there has to be some understanding about where you stand right now. So as you are developing those habits about you that make you you, as you are practicing, and I'm going to bring in some things from the earlier episodes, those things around self-care, right? As you are reminding yourself of what your boundaries are, the things that are the non-negotiables, right? As you are remembering the things about you that makes you you, that is how you would determine your next. We're all going somewhere at some pace, in some shape, form, or fashion. What is it going to show up for you? How are you going to show up for you? What do you need to help you figure out who you are? Here's your assignment. Start writing things down about you. And I'll even make it easy for you. You can write down the roles that you have. Okay, the titles that you carry. And then I want you to put some characteristics behind those titles. So if you are a leader, if you're a manager, supervisor, a teacher, what kind of teacher are you? Are you patient? Are you kind? Are you gentle? Are you loving? Are you funny? Right? Who are you? When people see you, when people hear about you, do they hear the same thing from everybody? Or do you change based on the surroundings that you're in? It's one thing to be a chameleon when you have to be, right? To fit in certain places, to make things be what they need to be. But if you're changing all the time, then that means you're more like the leaf on the tree and not the root to the tree. What do I mean by that? Leaves come and go. Right? As the seasons change, some of the trees, the leaves, they're not there. One of the things we used to notice about our tree before we had to cut it down, but one of the things we would notice about our trees when the seasons was changing and the leaves would change and they would go away. We knew fall was around the corner, right? We knew winter was coming, right? The leaves were gone, but the tree was still there. I need you to be enough of who you are, to be rooted so deeply, right? That the leaves may come and go, but the root, the core of who you are sustains itself and maintains itself. So who are you? Who am I? And as you identify who you are you becoming, right? Do you want to be more patient? How are you going to practice that? Do you want to be more kind? How are you going to practice that? Do you want to be more loving? How are you going to practice that? Do you really want to show up and be more than enough? And by being more than enough, I mean, for a person that someone tries to tell you every time you're doing something, oh, you should do this. Oh, you should do that. Oh, why aren't you doing that? Oh, how come you're doing it that way? Stop. This is me. This is who I am. I like who I am. And the parts about me that I may not like, I can change them because that's in my circle of control, right? And so learning how to be okay with who you are doesn't necessarily mean that you don't want to make adjustments and make changes, but it just means I'm good. I'm okay. And the areas that I want to improve on, I'll do that too. So remember, who are you? Ask yourself, who am I? And then who am I becoming? And what is it going to take for me to get to the other side, to this place that I want to get to? So I hope today, as you are driving around or sitting at the car wash or just underneath a tree somewhere, that you are contemplating and writing down, who am I? Outside of the titles that I carry, outside of what other people call me, who do I say that I am, right? Who do I say that I am? What words describe me? Not only to you, but what words describe me to me? Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you. I adore you. I thank you. Please like, follow, subscribe to my YouTube channel at kimjiforthesoul.com. And also, please email me your questions, your thoughts, your opinions, your topics, anything you want me to cover at Jema, that's Jema, at Kimji, the number 4, thesoul.com. That's Jema at kimjiforthesoul.com. Follow me on all things Kimji for the Soul. And please, please, please like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I appreciate you. I thank you so much. Until we meet again for another Soulful Saturday. Be blessed.